Hey everyone, so my name is Jay. I am part of the August 2021 full-time intake at the NUS MBA. Today, for the next couple minutes, I'm going to quickly go over the process of serving your stay-at-home notice or SHN, starting from actually your home airport all the way to when you get out of your SHN hotel, um, as well as some kind of tips and tricks from someone who went through the 2 weeks in SHN. So starting off, just some considerations when you're right before you're leaving for Singapore. Make sure all your documents in order are in order, excuse me. Unless you're taking a Singaporean airline, it is very likely that the gate agents, as well as the gate agents have absolutely no clue what an IPA is, what an EA is, how or what kinds of people are allowed into Singapore and who isn't, and so on. They have that information in actually their systems, but it takes them a really long time that I found when I was taking Air Canada for them to figure it out. So if you have all your documents in order and you actually lead the conversations with the gate agents, telling them this is what is required for me to get into Singapore, that'll make sure you get through kind of check-in and customs on in your home country a lot faster. Just keep in mind the 4 things that are absolutely necessary for you to get on that plane is of course your passport, your printed on paper copy of your in-principle approval or IPA, as well as your entry approval or EA, as well as your negative COVID test from a licensed facility. You can find more details on which kind of COVID tests are permissible in Singapore on the ICA website, so the Immigration Control Authority. Or Immigration Customs Authority. I'm actually not sure which abbreviation it is, but in any case, jokes aside, some other considerations that you're going to want to think about when before flying over is the ICA Electronic Health Declaration. This is something you can find on the ICA website. Basically, if you just Google those 4 words, you should be able to find it. You can complete this when you arrive in Singapore before you cross customs, but it will slow you down getting to the gate in Singapore. So I would highly recommend, if you can, fill it out before you get on the plane to come to Singapore. The other thing I found is that because right now airlines, depending on which country you're from, airlines are a little bit jumbled, for lack of a better word. So it is possible that the chances, particularly if you have to transfer through an airport, for example, I transferred through LAX on my way to Singapore from Toronto, there might be a small chance that your baggage, or probably a higher than normal chance that your baggage will get lost along the way or get delayed. In my case, it was so useful to have extra clothes in my carry-on because my baggage actually only arrived about 3 days after I got to Singapore. So having some extra clothes in the first couple of days of my SHN really helped. Yeah. Couple other considerations: electronics. Just remember, Singapore may or very likely uses a different kind of plug or socket and voltage from your home country, so keep that in mind. Certain tools like your phone charger, your laptop charger, etc., should be able to innately convert from between different types of voltages, but you might want to think twice about, for example, bringing like a hair dryer or an iron, because those things very likely will be incompatible with Singaporean sockets, even if you have an adapter. Yeah, I found that out the hard way after my hair dryer started smoking after I tried to plug it into a Singaporean plug. So don't do that. And then lastly, snacks, entertainment, most of the things that you're going to want to eat or have during your 14-day stay, you're going to want to try and put it into either your carry-on, depending on what it is, or your check-in luggage. With regards to any food and drinks, obviously you should double check Singaporean customs guidelines. You can just find it on Google. as to what's allowed into the country and what is not. Airport arrival, it's pretty simple. The Singaporean government here has it down, really, really, really well. Basically, you're going to get off the plane, you're going to clear customs. If you haven't filled out your electronic health declaration, this is where you'll do it. Pretty straightforward. This time, on the Singapore side, obviously the customs officers, they know what an IP, they know what an EA is. So it'll be pretty easy to clear. You're going to then do your arrival COVID test. This is another thing that I believe that you can actually pay for beforehand on the government website. If you don't, or if you can't figure out how, that's okay. You can pay for it on the ground. And I think this is a good time as well to interject with something I should have talked about in the before takeoff considerations. Is it'll be extremely useful if you do not have a Singaporean bank account coming in to have a credit card or some other form of payment method that can be used overseas. And I'll get into more why in a bit, but this is the first instance where, for example, if you don't have Singaporean dollars, a Singaporean bank account, or some kind of credit card or something that can pay in Singapore, you're going to have a hard time paying for your arrival COVID test, which means if you can't pay for it, you can't actually enter the country. And then afterwards, the airport or the government will have already arranged for your SHN facility, and they'll just shuttle you there with everyone else who's staying at your hotel that day. Upon arrival, you actually figure out which hotel you're staying at. There is a list of hotels on, I believe, or there was at least, I'm not sure if it's still around, on, I believe there's an ICA or some Singaporean government website. Up to date, the majority of people who've served or have been serving SHN have generally stayed at 4 to 5-star hotels. I personally stayed at the Conrad Centennial. Some people were staying at Swissotel, the Grand Marriott on Orchard. So generally pretty good. Like you definitely will not get run down kind of 2-star, 1-star hotel. So you don't have to worry too much about that, it seems. Once you get off of the shuttle, just some administrative stuff. Hotel will take contact information, bring your luggage to your room, give you your key card, etc. And this is depending on the hotel, you may or may not have a balcony or an open window. Extremely important because in general, you should not is prohibited from smoking in your room. So if you are a smoker, you're going to have to tell the hotel staff, and they will hopefully try their best to make some arrangements for you. This was part of the administrative process for me, where they asked if I smoked. I don't, so it wasn't an issue. But if you are, please make sure you notify the staff because you cannot smoke in your room. And then you go up to your room and your 14 days begins. In SHN, in general, just some general principles, you cannot exit your room at any time. Big Brother is watching. If you exit your room, they will find out. There have been news articles of people getting into serious trouble, as in fines and imprisonment for exiting the room. Don't do it, even if you're like your friend or your whatever it is in the hotel. It's not worth it. In terms, and then basically on the 13th day, assuming you're not showing any COVID symptoms, the hotel staff will bring you downstairs for a COVID test or an exit test. And then on day 14 in the early morning, the MOH will give you an email, hopefully saying that you are testing negative for COVID. The hotel staff will come up to your room again, check you out, and that's it. During your 14 days, some other considerations, depending on your hotel, or your hotel will absolutely serve you breakfast, lunch, dinner. Breakfast usually comes around 8 a.m., give or take, lunch around noon, and then dinner around 6. In terms of quality, it really depends on the hotel. The Conrad Centennial, even though it's a 5-star hotel, with all due respect to the Conrad team, the food was really not good. I've seen some of my friends or other classmates staying at like the Swissotel, Grand Marriott, like the Marriott. The food looks a lot better. But the other consideration as well is quantity. Like particularly if you're someone who works out or someone who eats more, whatever it is, the quantity is not a lot. And certainly in terms of like, if you're going to count your, let's say like your macros, like your nutrients, like your carbs versus proteins versus like, vegetables and so on, they definitely do not care about that. So that's something to keep in mind. How you can get around that is, of course, you can bring your own snacks. Again, double checking whether or not the ingredients in the food you're bringing into the country are actually permissible to enter the country. And of course, you can order food in. Basically, if you order anything online, food, clothes, groceries, etc. And I think Ron, in a section after this, will talk more about ordering online. But basically, it'll go downstairs. The hotel staff will stop it, and they'll bring it up to your room themselves. Yeah, definitely. If you don't like the hotel food, or you're still hungry, apps like Food Panda, Grab, etc. are really good. And again, another reason why you're going to need a credit card or a credit card that will work in Singapore because delivery doesn't pay for itself. And then complimentary hotel items too, like your basic stuff, like coffee and so on. You can just call the front desk; they'll bring it up for you. In terms of linens at the Conrad, like your pillowcase, blanket, they will essentially bring you a soluble laundry bag, and then you can put your linens in there and they'll wash it for you. Yeah. And then they'll bring you a soluble laundry bag, and a replacement. And then you just put your old ones in the soluble laundry bag and leave it out your door, and the hotel staff will carry it away. Towels, they will replace it roughly around every 3 to 4 days. So just to finish off, some personal tips, my experience, how you can spend the 14 days without going absolutely crazy. Like get ready for the day that you're going out, right? Because unless you lived in Singapore before, I assume you don't have a bank account, you don't have a phone number, credit card, etc. All these things in Singapore are going to require you to complete your formalities with the ICA before you can actually open a bank account, get a phone number, etc. So for example, research the various mobile providers, M1, Singtel, etc. See which one suits you best, price point, amount of data, etc. Bank account, same thing. Whatever bank you want to bank with, DBS, CBC, etc. UOB. Research the options, and that'll save you a lot of pain when you come out of SHN, because then you can immediately get kind of your affairs in order, instead of going days or weeks without a phone number or bank account. Another big thing is the MBA is a big investment, if not of your money, even if you got a full scholarship of your time. Get a head start, like talk to classmates, get to know classmates, talk to alumni, attend the great events that the clubs are putting on, network, meet new people virtually, etc. Like I spent a lot of my time during the 2 weeks doing that, and yeah, it's like I'm already kind of starting to hopefully see some of the kind of return on the investment of time and effort that I put in during SHN. As far as entertainment goes, just be normal. I think if you like video games, make sure you bring your PS4 or your laptop or whatever. And if you like to read, bring your book or your Kindle or whatever you read on. Netflix, yeah, your hotel will obviously have internet, and most hotel rooms also have a TV that can be connected to your laptop and whatnot. So you don't have to worry about that. Personally, I am really active, so to kind of keep myself from not going insane, I'd work out, I do cardio, etc. There's plenty of kind of like at home workout videos of various intensities that you can find on YouTube and elsewhere. So I highly recommend not just sitting or lying down all day. Get a little bit active, even if you're just like walking around the room listening to music or something. That will help a lot in terms of kind of your mood, your height, and so on. And as far as like counting down the days goes, I think it really depends. You gotta really know yourself and what kind of person you are. If you're like me, you're like really motivated, right? And like you can kind of like get yourself excited about stuff that's going to happen in the near future, then count the days. It'll help you pass, right? Because you feel 13, 12, 11, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Versus if you're someone who doesn't quite think like that, then maybe it's just best not to count the days. And then you'll wake up on day 14 and someone will knock on your door and you'll be out before you know it. So that's kind of everything. If anyone's got any questions, just hit me up on WhatsApp, Telegram. I talk a lot, so you guys know where to find me. Peace.